order to consolidate Al-Quds identity, and I'd like to emphasize that we should use the word Al-Quds both in Arabic and in English, okay, because Al-Quds represents our Palestinian presence in the city. In order to do that, it is important to create an umbrella organization that represents the value chain that are linked to the cultural heritage, development, and employment. And we have already done that. We have something called Al-Quds Tourism and Heritage Council. It actually includes a number of members like the Hotel Association, the Tour Operator Association, the Guide, the Jerusalem Cluster, the commercial sector. Also, we'd like to represent in the future the cultural sector and the educational sector and the religious sector and other sectors that are linked directly or indirectly to tourism and cultural heritage. We speak about development, we don't speak about only the industry. And we speak about development, then we speak about the identity of the city. And this is where we can do the research and the investment in protecting our cultural heritage and presenting it to the people in a very interesting and appealing manner. Yes, we are, I think, an important location inside Al-Quds. We're only 3 minutes walk from Bab al-Amud, which in English should be called the Column Gate, but it is known as Damascus Gate, and it's known as Nablus Gate, and it's known as St. Stephen's Gate, and it has several names, and it also has other recent names, but the name, the Column Gate, comes from the Hadrian Gate, okay, 2,000 years ago almost. Okay, and during the Hadrian period, when you entered the gate, there was a plaza and there was a big column with the bust of the Emperor Hadrian on top of it. And this is the power of heritage. That's why in the local tradition, it's called the Column Gate, which means in Arabic Bab al-Amud, and I think we should maybe continue to call it Bab al-Amud in Arabic and in English. And we know, of course, where the gate is. So north of the gate is a street now called Nablus Road, and this street is called Nablus Road because it goes all the way to Nablus. It goes all the way to the north, and for that reason, and since Damascus Gate, or the Column Gate, is one of the most important and busiest gates of the city since it was established. Okay, so this area right outside the gate becomes important, and it gets its importance because it is right at the entrance of the gate. The story is that people started to build outside the gate only in the second century, in the second part of the 19th century. Okay, and this was one of the first buildings in 1891. I decided to convert it into a heritage hotel. Okay, for this ordeal is not simple. This is a very big and cumbersome endeavor and cumbersome project. It took me a long time to do it, but we are getting now towards really presenting our the proper identity, I think, for the place. Of course, the identity is inspired by the city. By the city's periods. Okay, for example, the Roman, Byzantine, Umayyad, Ayyubi, Crusader, Ottoman, Mamluk, etc. Okay, and it's also inspired by its different neighborhoods and the diverse cultural heritage that exists in the city, and also by some of the main personalities who contributed or who became linked, their legacies became linked to the city. And so we started to adopt these ideas into the city. One of these ideas is that our street is called Antar Ben Shaddad. And Antar Ben Shaddad is pre-Islamic poet, okay, also known for his knighthood, okay, and his bravery. His mother was Ethiopian, so he had dark skin, and he wanted to marry his cousin Abla. and it's one of the famous love stories in the Arabic culture. Okay, right? Antar and Abla. He was denied the marriage because of his dark skin. So he wrote a lot of poetry. Some of his poetry is very much against racism. Okay, and also, of course, his love to women. So I took some of these poems and I carved it on wood and I put it in the rooms. Okay, so the rooms have different now poems from Antar bin Shaddad. So they tell the story of his love to Abla, and also they tell the story of his plight against racism and for fairness, justice and stuff like that. So in the hotel we provide a number of services. Okay, in addition to people staying in the rooms and people having a nice place to sit down and have something to eat and maybe meet some of the locals or meet some of their friends, we also try to connect people, first of all, to the different events that are taking place in the city. So if there are, for example, exhibits or exhibitions, cultural or artistic exhibitions, or if there are music performances, or if there are any events that are produced by some of the youth organizations, the women organizations, or the cultural organizations, we always tell people that these events are taking place around us. Yes. Okay, so if they want to go and be part of these events. Well, we have also always tried to maintain a traditional design in the restaurant. It has always been, the attempt was always to represent a Palestinian village. So I created elements from the Palestinian village. Okay, for example, a water spring, a taboon oven. I also used bamboo and stuff like that. And I used to have a vine tree. Okay, unfortunately the vine tree died after so many years. I think it's older than 50 or 60 years. Okay, and normally in our activities we always try to open spaces that are not known to people. Okay, and the city has a lot. Okay, and opening these spaces do two things. First of all, it will encourage these spaces to continue to be part of the fabric of the local Palestinian community. And this is important because many of these spaces are run by churches or monasteries or international organizations or Islamic Waqf. It is important that these people learn that they are part of the local community and the local community needs. And the local community needs are based mostly on the main economic driver of the city. And the main economic driver of the city is tourism, which is now facing a lot of hardship because of the corona pandemic.